Two sliding doors moments have changed everything. While Manchester United's kingdom crumbles, Chelsea reign supreme as champions of the world. Jim Ratcliffe failed to buy Chelsea and instead is destroying Manchester United, as Eric Cantona said he was doing on this channel only a few weeks ago. At this moment in time, the contrasting fortunes of both clubs has put Ratcliffe's wrecking ball role sharply into focus. The reality is a frightening shift of power that puts Manchester United fans on red alert, praying that Ruben Amorim can somehow perform a miracle and turn around the worst Manchester United team in Premier League history. Hi there, we're days away from the start of the pre-season tour and the alarm bells are already ringing loud and clear for Ruben Amorim. When Ashley Young went on television yesterday and told the world it's now or never for Amorim, he wasn't being melodramatic. He was shining a spotlight on the giant mess Amorim now finds himself in. To avoid the truth would be denial, and I think a lot of United fans are in denial right now. Don't tell me things can't get any worse. They bloody can. Much worse. No football club has any right to be successful. Silverware is earned, not gifted, and failure is a dead weight that's not avoided by making excuses. Like it or not, United is a club in crisis. Until we start winning again, this disaster start to Ruben's red reign is what Amorim will be judged by. How we start the season is going to make or break him. Excuses are for weak people, and Amorim promised the good times are coming. He said he needed a pre-season to put things right, and here we are. The pre-season is underway. But I'm sure this wasn't what Ruben had in mind. 5 senior players told us stay away from the first team squad because they're not wanted and no one can afford their wages. Just one major transfer incoming. Cunha was brilliant last season, but he's just one player. Failure to get the Mbomo signing over the line when the player wants to sign and is available for a fair price is an embarrassment. There is still time, of course, to get the deal done, but it didn't have to be like this. To make things look better, United paraded Diego Leon, a kid who was signed in January. This is not what United fans were promised. This is not what United need. I'm sure it's not what Ruben Amorim wants. But this is the consequence of years of mismanagement and incompetence by the owners. Jim Ratcliffe has made things 10 times worse by meddling in a business he has no understanding of whatsoever. United fan, you're having a laugh. I genuinely thought he was when I first put his name forward as a potential new owner of Manchester United. That was before 99.9% of Manchester United fans had even heard of him. My logic was he was reported as the richest man in Britain at the time, and he proclaimed he was a genuine Manchester United fan. But now I see Ratcliffe as a megalomaniac, a deluded opportunist who thought he could fool a global fan base who truly love this football club. Either he gets his act together quickly and starts to undo the obvious harm he's done to Manchester United, or he gets the hell out of this football club. The irony is he may get booted out by co-owners the Glazers before either of those things happen. He's currently the biggest shareholder by a long way, but the combined voting power of all 6 members of the Glazer family make him vulnerable, because they retain the option to sell the club lock, stock and barrel from under his nose. Sure, Ratcliffe has the counter option of matching any bid, and maybe that buyout clause was genius by Ratcliffe in this game of bluff and double bluff. But I seriously doubt he's got the balls or the brains to finish the job he started based on what we've seen so far. When he cut through the spin, we can all see he's failed miserably in his first 18 months at the wheel. His leadership undermined by a catalogue of own goals. A lack of understanding of what it means to be part of Manchester United Football Club. Not only has he accelerated turning a football institution into a shadow of its former self, by almost halving the workforce, he's literally turning United into a much smaller club. And so far, he's made our Achilles heel stand out like a sore thumb. We're still stuck with overpaid players who've been struggling to cash in. Putting them in the shop window with a damaged goods sign over their heads has made us look like a laughingstock. I'm not defending Rashford or Garnacho, but the way they've been devalued in the transfer market by their public trashing by the football club has been quite embarrassing. Until Amorim sidelined Marcus Rashford, who was United's top goal scorer. When he scored twice in a 4-0 win against Everton, he looked like a player with a lot more to give Manchester United. I remember watching him improve pre-season a year ago under the guidance of Ruud van Nistelrooy. But Ratcliffe wanted Rashford off the payroll. Problem is, discarding one of your highest earners with an ironclad contract is not as easy as discarding loyal foot soldiers paid peanuts in comparison. Ratcliffe can walk all over the little people, but he's out of his depth in the professional world of the modern day transfer market. The irony is, he's got the cash to invest in United if he really wanted to go for it. But he's acting like a kid with no pocket money at a car boot sale. Brentford won a fair price for Mbomo, and Ratcliffe has wasted 7 weeks or more trying to make a point about United not overspending anymore. Meantime, Ruben Amorim just wants new players to work with. The clock is ticking, but Ratcliffe and the Glazers are painfully slow. Chelsea, in contrast, kept spending until they got things right. Todd Boehly took plenty of stick for splashing the cash, but since he arrived, there's no doubt they've now got a brilliant squad. Cole Palmer, the kid from Wythenshawe, is world class. Cucurella, easily the best left-back in the Premier League. João Pedro has made an immediate impact at the Club World Cup. Liam Delap chose Chelsea over Manchester United. The list goes on. What's just as alarming is that experts right across all departments are voluntarily leaving United like rats deserting a sinking ship. I've never been so devoid of optimism about my football club. There's not just those inside the club who've had enough. Many legacy fans are turning their back on the club they've spent their lives spending their money on. Ticket price rises, difficulty accessing tickets for away games, and digital ticketing are issues that just scratch the surface of supporters' grievances. Fans need respecting, and these owners do not respect our fans. Pay up or move aside for someone with deeper pockets is the message, loud and clear. Looking at this objectively, ignoring the transparent Ineos PR spin projected by a small clique of Ratcliffe-briefed journalists, United are in free fall, hopelessly handicapped by owners out of their depth and an extremely poor negotiating position. Our much-needed rebuild stuck in quicksand. By creating a sin bin of unwanted stars and promoting this to the world, United have devalued every single player they're trying to move on. And that is severely handicapping Amorim's rebuild. United fans have been frustrated by extremely slow movement in the transfer market for many years, and things are no better since Jim Ratcliffe became co-owner. As things stand, this is our worst summer transfer window since David Moyes was let down by our incompetent owners. When it comes to buying and selling, United are currently the worst negotiators in the Premier League, by some distance. So much so that the daily soap opera of United being linked with a never-ending string of potential signings is boring and mentally draining. That's why I've not been giving you any regular updates. There's very little to report. Ruben Amorim was all smiles when United's PR department released images of him back at Carrington last week. But when we saw who was turning up for training, fans hungry for new faces were reminded just how thin this squad really is. I remember saying how Ruben Amorim had been set up to fail 6 months ago after he was jettisoned in mid-season. And it's feeling much the same as things stand with the season's big kick-off against Arsenal less than 5 weeks away. Statistically, Ruben Amorim is currently Manchester United's worst ever manager, certainly in the Premier League era. It's not even close. And that's making his mission of turning around the worst Manchester United squad in Premier League history so much harder. If he's going to hit the ground running at the start of his first full season, Amorim needs to be a miracle worker. Meantime, he's being forced to focus on how he can get the best out of a reduced squad, while 5 big earners are being paid just to hang around and not get in the way. On the face of it, that creates room for more of our academy graduates to shine on the pre-season tour. And that may end up being a blessing, but it's a worrying position to be in all the same when Amorim has made everything about having a summer to work his magic with new players. It's hard to see any more additions before United play Leeds in Stockholm on Saturday. And then the US tour follows only a week later. The transfer window remains open for another 7 weeks, and chances are we'll still be negotiating right until the deadline. Meantime, Manchester United Football Club's inactivity in the transfer market is a real problem for Ruben Amorim. He promised good times are coming. Like all genuine United fans, I really hope he's a miracle worker. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And please watch one of these videos next if you want to support this channel.